Dream big and dare to fail.
Believe you can, and you're halfway there.
Turn your wounds into wisdom.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
You never fail until you stop trying.
The only impossible journey is the one you never begin.
Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible.
Have enough courage to start and enough heart to finish.
Try again. Fail again. Fail better.
In the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity.
No great thing is created suddenly.
Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself.
Giving up is not an option.
Welcome to Failure Isn't Fatal. I'm your host, Matthew Loudenberg, and today joining me is Kyle Mersola. Welcome, Kyle.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good, thank you. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice
Been a
to
while.
see you too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, anytime. So let's just jump right into it, Kyle. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself, how old you are, and about your Treacher Collins syndrome.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, my name is Kyle. I am 37 years old. I live in Los Angeles, California, and I was born with Treacher Collins syndrome, as Matthew just mentioned. And what that is it's a birth condition that's genetic that causes underdevelopment in the facial area, specifically the eyes, ears, jaw, and cheekbones. And so I've had, 2 or 3 dozen operations growing up from the time I was born all the way until I was almost 18. Just plastic surgery, just trying to improve my functionality of my jaw and other parts of my face, as well as improve my appearance to make me look, a little bit more normal.
Oh, I think you look great, Kyle.
Thank you.
So what can you tell us about Treacher Collins? What do we know about it? Do we know what causes it, or how much does the community really know about it?
Okay. Well, it's not very common. I'm guessing most of you have never heard of it. That's because it only occurs in 1 out of maybe 60,000.
Oh, wow.
60,000 births. So not like, autism or Down syndrome or, several other, genetic conditions.
Yeah, this one's a little bit more rare.
Yeah, way more rare. And as far as what else we know about it, it is caused by a gene mutation. I believe it's chromosome 5. But it's a gene mutation where I guess the genes that are responsible for facial development, they kind of I guess stop working or otherwise don't go all the way with the development. And so as a result, someone with Treacher Collins is going to be born lacking full development in certain areas. And there's a very wide spectrum of Treacher Collins. Some people, it can be really minor to where you can hardly tell. And then other people, like myself, on the more severe end of the spectrum, to where it's fairly obvious. And so it's a wide spectrum. Then the one other thing I'll say is that although it is genetic, that doesn't necessarily mean that previous generations of my family or anyone's family will have it. For example, I am the first and only person in my family who we have any knowledge of, having Treacher Collins or carrying a gene mutation. In other families, it is sort of passed down either every generation or maybe every other generation.
Oh, that's
Uh,
interesting.
yeah, kind of a whole, I guess, dominant recessive,
Yeah.
pattern. And but in my case, it's spontaneous. So that
Yeah.
is the other possibility is that it could occur out of nowhere, as
Right.
it has for me. And if I ever have kids, I'm told there's like maybe a 50-50 chance that my
Okay.
kids could end up having a gene. I suppose that wouldn't necessarily mean they would have the, you know, full blown or external
The severity of it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Maybe it'll be recessive and then if they have kids, those kids could
Well,
have
okay.
facial features like me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah.
So, how has Treacher College affected your life? I know you did a video for us a while back, kind of explaining a lot of things, but I'd like to dive a little bit more deeper into that today, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So, you said that your childhood was um, good from what you recall of it, not too bad. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So yeah, my childhood, fortunately, thankfully, was rather happy for the most part. Um, obviously, looking different, whether it's Treacher College or anything else.
Yeah, any kind.
Yeah, any kind of difference is often picked on in
Yeah.
schools. Bullying has been an issue, certainly nowadays, but,
Yes.
you can go back, generations and generations, bullying has kind of always existed, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And so I was in a little bit of a sheltered environment, in that my parents chose to put me in a private Christian school from kindergarten on. And so I had a lot of the same friends and people around me throughout from kindergarten all the way through high school. And that was helpful for creating, continuity and
Yeah. Of
familiarity
course.
and such. But obviously, there was still the opportunity for bullying,
Yeah.
which I mean, maybe I had, a little bit of experience, being on the other end of that.
Hmm.
Um, but nothing too bad in my opinion. And the worst part actually was outside of school, out in public,
Yeah.
because even now, little kids they don't understand. They just say
Right.
whatever's on their mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Little
And
kids
they'll
can
say
be
it as
brutally
loud as they
honest.
want. Huh?
Yeah. Little kids can be brutally honest.
Yeah, it's not their fault. They don't know better.
Right.
But
Yeah.
still, they'll say it to your face. They'll ask you, "Why do you look that way?
Yeah.
What happened? Why are your eyes so small?" You know.
So, how do you deal with that? How do you talk to these kids?
Well, I mean, ideally, ideally, I tell them, I was born this way.
Yeah.
What happened to me? Nothing. I was born this way. Um, I probably should be, super nice and calm and gentle and explain it to them in a way that they'll, understand and be educated.
Yeah.
But oftentimes, if I'm being honest, I just ignore it,
Uh-huh.
like give it
Yeah.
a short answer. Because I mean, even though I'm kind of used to it, it's still not comfortable,
Right. Of course.
when
That's
a kid
understandable.
yeah, when a kid says something or asks me something, and so I can't say I handle it the best,
Yeah.
but I guess what I will say is when I have done a little bit of public speaking in schools back in 2019. I went to a handful of schools in LA County and Orange County.
Hmm.
Um, did you ever see the movie or hear about the book called Wonder?
No, I
Okay.
haven't.
Okay. So Wonder is a book by, I believe the author is R.J. Palacio.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't know how old the book is, maybe 5 or 10 years now.
Okay.
But they came out with a movie based on the book in maybe 2018,
Hmm.
which had, ooh, I want to say Owen Wilson and who was the female actress? Um, I want to say who was the actress in Miss Congeniality? Oh, that's Sandra Bullock, right?
Yeah, yeah, Sandra Bullock. I
I
think
don't know
so.
if I'm not sure if it was her or it was some other, fairly famous
Yeah,
female actress.
yeah, a star
The
cast.
huh?
Yeah, they had a star cast.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And so uh, the movie was based on the book,
Hmm.
and the main character in the book is a child who is, I believe, in like middle school age, maybe
Hmm.
younger, who has they never label what condition he has, but if you read the details, he basically has, Treacher Collins
Okay.
or something similar to it. And
Yeah.
so a lot of schools, elementary and middle schools, were reading that book and were seeing the movie back
Uh-huh.
in 2018, 2019,
Right.
and the whole theme of the book and the movie is kindness. You probably heard the hashtag choose
Yeah.
kindness,
Yeah, I
all
saw
that.
that.
Yeah, that was the main theme of the book and the movie. And so when the classes were studying that in the curriculum, I had teachers and parents and stuff who know me who would reach out to me and say, "Hey, we're reading this book, we're seeing a movie. Would you be interested in coming and speaking to our
Oh,
class?"
that's
So
pretty
I did
cool.
that. Yeah, so I did that for a few different classes. There's one school in I think it was San Juan Capistrano where
Uh-huh.
I spoke to an entire grade, like an entire fifth grade of like
Wow.
about 200 kids.
Wow,
And
wow.
yeah, and I did like a full on PowerPoint presentation,
Nice.
spoke for anywhere from a half hour to an hour, question and answer time at the end, the whole
Well, that's
deal.
pretty cool.
So I feel good about that. Even if I'm not
Yeah.
doing it one on one with kids, I do feel good that I'm, helping
Yeah.
out with doing that and spreading awareness and
Right.
hopefully, influencing them in a positive way.
Yeah. It's a little different when you're, you know, prepared for it and you know you're going to be talking about it versus you're just out
Yeah.
trying to get your groceries and someone, starts talking to you. I imagine that would be uncomfortable for sure.
Yeah, well, when I'm at work,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely when it comes by surprise, I'm like, okay, not what I want to talk about right now,
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
You got other things going on in your mind.
yeah,
Yeah. You still have a life to live just like everyone else.
for sure.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. So, um, so what do you do for a living now? Just speaking of, your work, let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure. So, I own my own business. It's
Oh,
a
nice.
small business. It's a baseball, softball, batting cage. So, kind of like a
That's
driving
cool.
range for golf, or this
Yeah.
is baseball and softball. So, we have obviously lots of youth and adult baseball and softball players. Um, the men and women who do the adult slow pitch softball leagues.
Yeah.
We did a lot of those, and just normal people, guys and girls on a date.
Yeah.
Families. Whatever.
That's pretty cool. Um, how'd you get into that?
Um, so my family, we actually built it. We own it. We built it um,
Nice.
back in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, early mid 90s is when we opened, and so we bought a piece of property there here in Burbank. I live in
Yeah.
Burbank, and So we bought a new property and we just turned it into a batting cage facility. And I didn't start working there till till I graduated high school back in
Okay.
2003.
Yeah.
And I worked on and off throughout college in the summer. Then I've been there full time, nonstop, since 2010. And as time has gone on,
Yeah.
my role, my responsibility has, increased more and more to where now you know, on paper, I have the solo, the president, and all that stuff.
Nice.
And as far as the day to day, I'm definitely the most involved. I still kind of manage it in partnership with my dad and one of my older brothers. Um, so it's not all me, but like I said, as far as the day to day, I'm
Yeah.
definitely the most involved and the most aware of what's going on and all that.
Nice. What's it called?
So it's a baseball, it's a batting cage, but it's also we have a small video arcade.
Okay.
So it's called Batcade. So like batting cages arcade.
Oh, okay. I get it. Nice. Yeah. That's pretty
A lot of
clever.
people think bat caves like Batman,
Yeah.
but no,
Right.
Batcade with a P.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
so
pretty
yeah,
clever.
Batcade. And do that.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
Everyone go check out Batcade in Burbank.
yeah, come by. We're on we have a page on Facebook, also a page on Google Business. No actual website yet, but yeah, Facebook and Google Business is where you
Yeah.
can find us.
That's
We're
cool.
also on Yelp, but the Yelp page is not verified.
Yeah.
So the information on there may not be 100% accurate because I don't actually manage that one.
Got it.
That was created by, by users.
Yeah.
So
That's cool, man.
yeah.
So let's get back into your Treacher Collins syndrome a little bit. You were saying about people approaching you, when you're out in public or at work or, those kinds of situations. Is there a better way for people to approach you think maybe that's genuinely curious? I mean, obviously the kids, you can't really, like you said, they kind of say what they want to say. You can't really control them. But more so just for adults who might be curious, maybe, like you said, it's pretty rare and someone who's never seen it before. Maybe, obviously not trying to be mean, but genuinely has questions. How will they best approach you about that?
Of course, yeah, great question. So, when it comes to adults, people who, have a filter, right?
Yeah.
And, go to say whatever say whatever.
Yeah, people that should know better.
Yeah, exactly. For adults, I don't mind talking about it at all. Like, when I'm like at bars, like if you and I at Cowboy Country or something, it has happened where when people ask me, at a bar, hey, what happened? Were you in a fire? I get that a lot from the girls.
Oh, really?
They think I had bullet injuries.
Okay. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, no, it's a common one. And actually, kind of a funny little story. I had people in the country community at the country bars actually confused me with, I guess there's a rodeo guy, like a professional bull rider, who actually maybe looked something like me.
Really?
So, I'd had that question too. Hey, are you a bull rider? I'm like,
That's
oh,
pretty cool.
yeah. I should have lied and said, yeah. That's me, 'cause that'd be way cooler. But,
yeah. That's a pretty cool story.
yeah, but unfortunately, no, that's not the case. And it's
Well,
not
maybe you'll get into
violated.
bull riding.
Huh?
Maybe you'll get into bull riding.
Maybe. Yeah, I never know. But yeah, so people ask me if I was in a fire. I don't really like that question either, to be honest, because that kind of, catches me off guard. So to answer your question, the best way, in my opinion, is to ask, politely but gently,
Uh-huh.
just say, hey, do you don't mind me asking, what happened? What's your story?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and, something like that, to where, there's less edge on the
Right.
question. It's
Yeah.
a little bit less offensive, less in my face. No pun
Right.
intended. uh,
Yeah. Less abrasive.
yeah, and so, and if you ask me kindly, politely, if you ask me at all, I'll tell you. But
Yeah.
the more gently and politely you ask me, the more I'm probably going to share.
Right.
Because I don't mind telling my story at all. I've
Yeah.
become more and more open, and public about it in the last several years. I used to not want to really talk about it at all unless
Yeah.
somebody asked me.
Right.
But now I'm willing to talk, either on my own initiatives,
Yeah. That's
I'll
cool.
post on Facebook, something about it. Um,
Yeah.
and people, what I've learned is that people generally respond really well
Hmm.
whenever I talk about my condition or anything medically related.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's, probably because I have so many people who care about me,
Yeah.
even if they really know me.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. You're a very likable guy.
Thank you, yeah. And so, um, whenever I post anything like on Facebook or Instagram, about a surgery or about, anything, if I'm going and speaking at a school or something, the
Yeah.
response is always, huge.
Right.
Um, and so that tells me that not only do people care about me, but people, they want to know. They
Yeah.
actually find this kind of fascinating. Um, I posted back in November and December of this last year,
Hmm.
2021. I had a hair transplant, and I
Yeah. I
also,
remember that.
yeah, that was in November. And then in December, I had another procedure. I don't know if you can see them, but right here,
Is that a
uh,
cochlear?
kind of.
Kind of.
It's all it is. I have one here and one here.
Uh-huh.
It's a like a 9 millimeter titanium post that they drilled into my skull. Um, and in about a week, or about 2 weeks, on March 10th, I'm going to have the healing processes fitted onto these posts, and
Okay.
so they'll just clip on, and then those will be my new healing processes. So I won't have to wear this anymore.
Okay.
Um, this is what I've been wearing my whole life, but
Yeah.
it's super outdated technology, and so I'm upgrading to the modern stuff, and so it's like a cochlear implant, yes,
Hmm.
but just a little bit different.
Okay.
A little bit more. I know a little bit about how cochlear implants work, but uh, people who have those have a different type of damage in
Right.
the inner or middle ear than what I
Yeah.
have. My inner and middle ear are actually okay. It's the outer part that I am
Okay.
lacking.
Yeah.
Um, and so my device is similar, but a little bit. It's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Um, but oh, so yeah, so back to November, December, I posted
Yeah.
on Facebook about these two procedures I had,
Hmm.
and with the one for the hearing, I gave a huge explanation about what what I just told you, right? About
Right.
what it's going to do for me and why it's necessary kind of thing. And I had a
Right.
lot of people, like commenting saying, hey, that's so cool. Thanks for sharing. I never knew that. That's
Yeah.
super, amazing, super interesting. So, people evidently people want to know and
Yeah.
they think of a nice guy, which is awesome. That's how I want to be known. First and foremost, is I want
Right.
to see past this and to like me, sort of being a normal guy. But what I've learned is that I don't need to, even though I try to live my life as normally as possible, despite my appearance, I know that doesn't mean that I can't share my story and my medical history
Yeah.
because people actually find it interesting and they want to know. And I suppose it helps them to make maybe a better connection
Yeah.
with me and they have more understanding and they have answers to questions that they inevitably have always had. Maybe
Yep.
they just, were afraid to ask or, they
Yeah.
didn't want to be, impolite or,
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say.
yeah.
I think
So-
a lot of people are curious but afraid of offending, and so a lot of people don't ask the questions that they want to ask, which
Yeah.
is another reason kind of why we're doing this. So to ask those questions for people and spread awareness, like we talked about, this is really rare, so a lot of people haven't seen it or encountered it. So I think it's totally important to let people know that it's out there and that this is something that can happen and does happen,
Yeah.
and spread more knowledge about it. So if they do encounter it again in their life, they're kind of already like, oh, okay, I know.
Yeah. I mean, the odds that they'll see more than maybe 5 people in their entire life, who have pizza callings is
Yeah.
probably likely, unless they're actively trying to find,
Yes. Right.
people
Yeah.
with it. But yeah, it's out there. And I'm in a
Yeah.
Facebook group with people from all over the world who have pizza callings.
That's
So
what I was going to ask next. If you are in touch with any other people who have Treacher Collins.
yeah, not at a super close level.
Uh-huh.
Um, I went to a conference back in 2016 in Cincinnati, Ohio. Um, actually, I think the next one, which would be this summer,
Hmm.
is actually I could be wrong, but it might be in North Carolina.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
You'll have to let me know if it is.
check that out. Definitely
Yeah.
have to make a point to come to see you and whatnot.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
But yeah, so I did that in 2016, and that was the first time I'd ever been around, that many people. We're
Uh-huh.
talking probably, I don't know, plus or minus maybe 50 families
Yeah.
and or individuals with, Prince of Collins.
Yeah.
Um, and so that was the first time I'd ever been around that many people in one place.
Hmm.
Before that, it would be individuals here and there, who my parents, met some other parents, and then, kind of that kind of way.
Right.
But now with social media, yeah, obviously there's opportunity there.
Yeah.
Um,
Real easy to
and-
connect.
yeah, and so I did a couple Pizza Collins Facebook groups, and like I said, it's people all over the world, all different ages,
Hmm.
um, and it's cool. I participate on there a little bit, not
Yeah.
every day, every week or anything, but I made a couple acquaintances.
Yeah.
Actually, here's another cool story.
Yeah.
Um, there is a girl who lives in Wisconsin who has Lisa Collins.
Hmm.
Well, in one of these Facebook groups, she messaged me in November. I think it was either right before Thanksgiving or right after. And she's like,
Uh-huh.
"Hey, where do you live? You know, and we should meet up sometime." And I thought she was kind of cute, so I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay." We talked, through Facebook a
Mhm.
bit, then she gave me her number. We texted a little. I talked on the phone with her once, but then I don't know, the connection didn't
Wasn't there?
really, yeah, at least not on both ends.
Yeah.
Um, and then I met another guy through a dating app or something, and so now, kind of an old, not not old news like I've heard of it, but
Yeah.
I'm not actively pursuing that anymore.
Got you.
I still see her posts and stuff, and I'm still friends with her on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat.
Yeah.
But I haven't talked to her in a couple months now.
Yeah. You just can't
Yeah.
force that connection. You guys may have one common ground, but
And and I was pretty excited about it because if I wouldn't gone anywhere, I was all ready to go out and meet her and
Yeah.
go to Wisconsin. She's a Packers fan, right? So this was before football season ended. So I was gonna go out there and watch a game with her.
Yeah, that'd be really
That
cool.
would be super fun.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it never happened. But if I had gone anywhere, I was excited about it because I'm not gonna lie, as confident as I might appear to you and others who see me, at the bar
Yeah.
or in public, I'm, quite self-conscious about my appearance.
Right.
And I, if I had, if I were to connect romantically with a girl who has Treacher Collins, to me that would be a different experience, I think,
Hmm.
than with, a quote unquote normal, looking girl.
Yeah.
Because there would be that relatability factor to where they would understand me
Yeah.
and what it's like to be me and to have all the, you know, anatomy challenges that
Yep.
I have and things
Yeah.
like that. And so I think my self consciousness would be less and my
Yeah.
comfort level would be higher because I wouldn't have to worry as much about them being, weirded out or turned off
Right.
by, you know,
Yeah.
by something about me that, is kind of unavoidable.
Right. Exactly. Oh, that's understandable, though.
So,
Well, there's more out there.
yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people just
Oh yeah.
waiting until it happens, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well, I have faith in you. Yeah. Like it's the personality. Obviously, appearance.
No, I know I have a lot to offer. I know I have a
Oh
lot to
yeah.
offer.
Yes, you do.
It's just a matter of connection, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the same way I don't know about you, but I, despite having tons and tons of acquaintances,
Hmm.
largely through our mutual friends in the country scene
Yeah.
here in Southern California. I don't have a ton of people who I'm close with in general, close friends
Hmm.
in general, and that I think is because I don't really connect, feel a connection, a strong connection with a lot of people. It's one
Okay.
thing to be acquaintances, hey,
Yeah.
we have similar interests, whatever, but similar beliefs, similar values,
Right.
similar lifestyle, similar stage of life, especially now in our 30s, half
Yeah.
our friends are married, have kids,
Right. Right. Right.
it's a lot more challenging to find people who you really connect with and can be people who you want to spend a lot of time with and have serious conversations with and
Yeah.
all that. And with a girl, it's no different. You just
Nope.
add
Yeah.
the romantic element.
Right.
So just try to keep looking.
Yeah. Oh, I wish you the best of luck. I'm sure you'll find someone.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, um, let's talk a little bit more about go back into your hearing. I'm just curious. You said that in a couple of weeks you're gonna get the um, what did you call them?
Processes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
healing processes. So they're just going to be a little device about that big, which will clip on to
Hmm.
the titanium post,
Hmm.
and they're basically like little supercomputers. They actually have
Yeah.
a computer chip inside, and they're able to obviously receive sound,
Yeah.
but also process it,
Mhm.
and help me kind of prioritize the different sounds that I'm hearing so that I can, sort of tune out background noise,
Yeah.
tune in, speech and other stuff that's important. Um, and they have like a lot of high tech capability. They will be able to connect wirelessly through Bluetooth
Oh,
to my
wow.
phone,
Yeah.
so I can receive calls and audio
Wow.
straight
That's
from my
pretty
phone
cool.
to the processor. Yeah,
Wow.
so I
So,
can hear music,
yeah.
phone calls.
No need for
Probably able to
headphones.
do this, through that.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty
it'll
cool.
be super cool.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. My dad just got hearing aids that have Bluetooth in them too, so he's always talking to me
Okay.
on his phone through that.
Now I'm guessing his are probably what are called air conduction aids, where it's
Uh-huh.
external and it
Yes.
just kind of goes in his ear,
Yep.
maybe it kind of wraps around the back of the earlobe kind of
Yep.
thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the kind. Yeah.
So those are called air conduction, right?
Hmm.
Or air conductors hearing aids, which if you go to your general audiologist, that's going to be the kind of stuff that they work
Yeah.
with. Um, my kind is what's known as a bone anchored hearing aid, meaning
Right.
that um, obviously it's receiving the sound, through the air, I guess. But
Yeah.
as far as how it's processed, it's sending signals in to, my middle ear, my inner ear,
Yeah.
straight to the cochlea, and then up to the brain.
Hmm.
And so it works a little bit more internally than
Yeah.
externally,
Yeah.
which would be kind of what your dad does.
Yep.
Um, and, there's people with all different kinds of hearing loss
Yeah.
who use the same type of device that I'm going to have. It's not just people with future callings.
Okay.
I did a few other Facebook groups now for this stuff,
Okay.
and
Nice.
most of the people in these, bone anchored healing um, groups, they don't have future callings.
Yeah.
I'm, one of, you know, really few, I would say. Most of
Yeah.
them are, normal looking people like yourselves who have, single sided deafness or, um, mixed hearing loss, um, conductive hearing loss, like I have.
Hmm.
Um, there's several different types of hearing loss for which a bone anchored device is appropriate and effective.
Right.
Future callings is just one
One
of
of
many.
many. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Is that gonna improve your hearing from now? How well do you hear right now?
Yeah, good question. So the hope and the expectation is that yes, it will improve dramatically. It'll be I will literally be able to hear things I never heard before.
Oh, that'll be a neat experience
Things
for you.
like things like the fan, spinning around the room. I'll hear that in a way I've
Okay.
never heard before.
Yeah.
The air conditioning, the refrigerator, the um the sound it makes when I walk,
Yeah.
on dirt or on grass outside. Just really kind
Yeah.
of smaller things that
Right.
I guess are not as loud, for lack of a better way to put it.
Yeah.
Um, that I never heard before. Water dripping from the faucet. I'll be
Yeah.
able to hear
Right.
that from the other room. Kind of thing.
Well, that's
Um,
cool. A lot of things that people take for granted. People hear those things every day and don't think twice about the fact that they can hear them. And
yeah,
it
yeah,
kind of changes your perspective a little bit when you know that uh, there's someone out there who can't hear that.
yeah,
Even
and even though and with music, I love music,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I've had people say, "Man, I wonder what this is going to be for music." You're going to hear it in a way you never heard before.
Oh yeah, this
Well,
is gonna be big for
I,
you.
yeah, I hope so. But I feel like I actually heal music quite well already, and I feel like my healing in general is quite good, even with this outdated
Hmm.
technology. Um, so how much better will it be? I don't know. I can't tell you that until I
Yeah,
actually experience it fully. But
we'll have to
for
check
those
back
of
in with you and see how you're doing
yeah,
after
yeah,
your.
check back with me in a couple
Yeah.
months. But from what everybody tells me, it'll be pretty life changing, and so I'm excited. I know
Yeah.
it'll be different for a while. My brain is gonna have to adjust.
Right. It's gonna be a
Because
big change.
yeah, it's probably gonna be like sensory overload,
Yeah.
for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm only 37, so my brain will adjust. Hopefully, fairly quickly, and then it'll be good. I hope.
Yeah. I hope so. I'm excited for you. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I think it's our time for today, Kyle. Thank you for joining us again. It's been a pleasure. Um, are there any last statements you'd like to make to anyone? Um, any way maybe people could get involved um, to maybe help research for it, or is there any organizations, anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, if far as kids are college, I don't really know of anything off the top of my head as far as where there's a need or a way to donate or raise
Right.
awareness or things like that. Obviously, if you go online, you can Google Treacher College if you want more info,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
that'll get you somewhere. There are Facebook groups. Um, I don't know how many there are for people who just want to learn,
Yeah.
as opposed to people who actually had it or have
Right.
someone in their family. Um, but like I said, I think I said this in the video that I made for you. If people want to know more, I'm an open book, right? So, if they want to reach out to me directly,
Yeah.
feel free. I'm happy to share. Always happy to make new friends.
Yeah. We'll
And
we'll put your information in the description there so people can
yeah,
find you.
please do.
Yeah.
And yeah, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I do have a YouTube channel. I don't use it too much. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
and I think the biggest thing, generally speaking, is just be kind to people. Be
Yeah.
kind. Choose kindness. Because
Agreed.
it applies to everyone, right? You don't know what someone else is going through. Life is so
Exactly.
crazy these days. The world is a crazy place in 2022,
Yeah.
and
Sure is.
so you don't know someone else's story.
Yeah.
You really can't. Even though we all do it, myself included, you can't really judge unless you walk in their shoes,
Yep.
and none of us have. I
Exactly.
haven't been in your shoes. You haven't been in mine.
Nope.
And so the only thing that we can really do, and the only thing that really helps, is to be kind, to be gracious, to be respectful, um, and mind your own business, when appropriate.
Right. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and
Definitely.
yeah, and just be kind to people. Um, the one other thing I want to say real quick is I
Yeah.
know that your brand, your company is all about adversity and how you overcome it, right? How you
Yeah.
bounce back. And as that pertains to me and my story and my life, um, I've been really blessed to have, friends my entire life and, an incredibly supportive family. I've had no shortage of love surrounding me in my life. Not everyone can say that,
Yeah.
Christian Collins or not.
Right.
Um, but I'm really blessed in that way. And so my adversity has not been, nearly that of a lot of people. People assume I've had a lot of obstacles and
Yeah.
challenges. I get that a lot. They're like, "Oh man, you're such an inspiration," for all the stuff you've overcome and whatnot. Well, they're saying that without even actually knowing me really well. So it kind of annoys me a little bit. But more importantly, I I haven't had the challenges that some people have had, but those
Yeah.
that I have had, I've been blessed with a positive attitude, such that, sure, I get down, I get sad, I get depressed, I get hurt,
Yeah.
like most people,
Right.
especially when it comes to girls and,
Yeah.
rejection and whatnot. But, um, I mean, I bounce back eventually. I might be sad or depressed for a little while,
Yeah.
but, inevitably I bounce back and I come around and you'd see me, you know me well enough to know
Yeah.
that I really put myself out there, a little
Definitely.
bit, and I try to have fun and enjoy
Yeah.
life as much as I can, and I try to live as normal of a life as I can, and that's always been my goal, and I think it always will be, because even though Treacher Collins is a huge part of my story and who I am,
Yeah.
I definitely try not to let it define me.
Yeah. There's so much more behind that.
Yeah, and life, and we only get one, right? We only get one
Yep.
life, and so neither one of us is getting any younger, right? And so,
Unfortunately not.
no, so I just, both of us, we gotta take advantage of opportunities and
Yeah.
put ourselves out there and just try to make the most of every day, because
Yeah.
that's all we have, and so, that's what I try to do is stay positive, look toward the future, try to have fun, try to be responsible, be a good role model, be a good, friend, son, brother, all that, all that
Yeah.
stuff you hear, and just be a good person overall.
Oh, that's really good, Kyle. Thank you for that. I think it's important for everyone to hear that.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for doing this and for having me.
Yeah.
Always
Thank
always
you.
willing to help out and raise awareness and
Yeah.
and you spread the mind. So I
Yeah.
have
I
no
appreciate you taking
hesitation.
the time. You know,
Yeah,
I know you're a busy
anytime.
guy, so
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
no, anytime, anytime.
we really appreciate it. And yeah, I think maybe we'll check back in with you in a couple months and see how you're doing with your new hearing and see how the world's changed for you.
Yeah.
Uh, I'd
Well,
be
done. Yeah,
really
for me and to
interested in
everyone,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
knows? But yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. All right. Thanks again, Kyle. And that's it for this episode. So I'll put Kyle's information in the description below so you can find him on his social media. And as always, you can go to our website at www.fallenrise.us. We have Kyle's testimonial video there. You can watch more about his story, as well as other people's stories, as well as our resources for depression, addiction, that kind of stuff. We have resources on the website as well. And you can try to follow us on Instagram at fallenrise.co. And of course, subscribe to the podcast so you can stay tuned for other episodes and hear other people's stories. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for being here.